Welcome to AI Evening News. Here are today's top stories from the world of AI. Here are today's main stories from the world of AI. The U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee has unanimously advanced the GUARD Act, a bipartisan bill from Senators Josh Hawley and Richard Blumenthal that would force AI companies to verify the age of their users and ban AI companion products for minors. The bill also requires AI services to repeatedly disclose to users that they are not human and imposes criminal penalties on companies whose products solicit sexual content from minors or encourage suicide. A companion bill has been introduced in the House. For consumer AI builders, this is the clearest signal yet that companion-style chatbots are heading toward formal regulation in the United States. OpenAI's Codex has added a switch to Codex flow that lets developers move their settings, plugins, agents, project configs, and chat history from rival coding agents into Codex in a few steps. The feature is part of Codex CLI version 0.128, and it can auto-detect external MCP servers, subagents, and hooks. Community users also report that the same release ships a pets command. Typing /pet adopts a default companion, and a /hatch pet skill lets you create a custom one. For teams considering a switch off Cursor or Claude Code, this lowers the migration cost from days to minutes. Anthropic is reportedly weighing a new private funding round in the range of $40 to $50 billion at a valuation that could approach $900 billion. According to the Wall Street Journal, that would push Anthropic past OpenAI as the highest valued AI startup in the world, and it may be the company's last private round before going public. Separately, officials say the White House is opposing Anthropic's plan to expand access to its Mythos model to roughly 70 additional entities, which would bring the total to around 120. The administration cites security concerns and compute constraints, and worries the expansion would weaken the U.S. government's own access to the model. For investors, it is a signal that frontier AI valuations and national security concerns are now moving on the same chessboard. The U.S. Department of Defense has signed agreements with 7 AI vendors to deploy their models on classified military networks. The latest tranche, announced on May 1st, covers NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, and Reflection AI, joining earlier agreements with OpenAI, Google, and SpaceX. The deals authorize use on networks at impact level 6 and 7, the highest national security tiers, and the Pentagon describes the goal as lawful operational use, with applications in data fusion, situational awareness, and decision support. Officials say the move is meant to avoid vendor lock-in and accelerate the shift to what they call an AI-first fighting force. The agreements arrive while the department remains in dispute with Anthropic, which has resisted broad operational use of its models. Microsoft has added a legal agent to Word, aimed at lawyers and contract teams. The agent handles contract analysis, version comparisons, redline generation for negotiations, and flagging clauses that deviate from internal playbooks. It is built on a deterministic resolution layer that understands Word's document structure, including formatting, tables, and lists, rather than relying solely on a language model, which Microsoft says cuts latency and cost. The legal agent is available today on Word for Windows Desktop through the Frontier program in the United States only. Microsoft notes that the agent does not provide legal advice and is not a substitute for a qualified legal professional. For office-heavy enterprises, this is one of the first AI agents pitched at a specific licensed profession rather than at general productivity. xAI has launched custom voice cloning on its API. Developers can supply about 1 minute of natural speech, complete a verification phrase and a voice print check, and then generate a personal voice model in under 2 minutes. The cloned voice plugs into both the Grok text-to-speech endpoint and the VoiceAgent API at no extra charge. Alongside that, the catalog of preset voices has expanded to more than 80 options across 28 languages. Because the system requires real-time verification and voice print matching, it cannot clone someone else's voice from a pre-existing recording. That constraint is xAI's main anti-abuse mechanism. That's today's AI Evening News. If you found this useful, hit subscribe so you catch tomorrow's briefing.